We have been responsible. We have been accountable. Today, our fiscal outlook is significantly improved.
Budget number 4. The governing Liberals say they've turned things around for the province, and Newfoundland and Labrador is moving from being in the red to being back in the black.
As a result of the newly signed Atlantic Accord Agreement by our Premier and the Minister of Natural Resources, Mr. Speaker, in 2019-20, the fiscal year will realise a surplus of $1.9 billion.
The provincial government brings down a budget that is big on goodies sprinkled right around the province.
It's a great day to be in Newfoundland and Labrador. We have a bright future ahead of us.
But not everyone sees things as rosy.
So this is just a little bit of magic with numbers that we're seeing.
But the big question tonight, is this a budget or an election campaign launch?
There will be an election call before the debate on the budget occurs, and therefore people won't know really all the nooks and crannies of the budget, or what devils lurk in the details.
Good evening, I'm Carolyn Stokes.
And I'm Peter Cowan. They called it a budget, but it's really a campaign launch for the Liberals, and we're going to break it all down for you tonight.
And I'm Anthony Germain, live in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Labrador's needs vastly different than those of the island. We'll have business reaction from the big land, as well as a conversation with the mayor of Happy Valley Goose Bay. First, back to Carolyn and Peter in St. John's.
And we start tonight with breaking news.
Yeah, all signs have pointed to a provincial election, and we now have some news about when it's going to be. The Premier hasn't made an official announcement, but let's bring in Fred Hutton, who's been speaking with some sources. So, Fred, what can you tell us about the date?
Well, Peter, what sources are telling CBC News is that people in Newfoundland and Labrador are going to be going to the polls on May 15th. Now, that's a Wednesday if you look at your calendar. A little unusual, as elections have normally been held historically on a Tuesday in this province, but that's just one of many unusual aspects of this election. Sources say Premier Ball is going to visit the Lieutenant Governor Judy Foote tomorrow at Government House, and that the campaign, which many say has been ongoing for weeks, will officially begin.
And Fred, as local media, we've all been waiting for this moment, but why now?
Well, we're not the only ones who've been waiting, and not the only ones who are ready to go. This is what greeted us as we headed up to the lockup today at Confederation Building. Ches Crosby's PC opposition bus outside, ready to go with those great big logos on there, letting everyone else know that they're ready for a campaign call, should it come. The election, of course, was supposed to be held in the fall, but Liberal sources tell CBC that organizers don't want to run a campaign alongside the federal election. They feel it will be too tough on some of the same groups who volunteer to work with provincial and federal teams. And also, calling the election just before Easter weekend, that may seem a little unusual as well. But the House of Assembly is closed next week, and if MHAs have to return to the legislature on the 29th, that means they'd have to start debating the budget, and that would keep the incumbent MHAs off the campaign trail while they discuss the fiscal document. Now, of course, calling the election tomorrow means everyone is going to be off and running at the same time, and that includes us, to follow it all and cover it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Fred, for bringing us those details tonight.
You're welcome.
Well, that campaign is going to be built on today's budget.
Yeah, and that budget is filled with promises that the Liberals are going to take across the province to try and get your vote.
We have been responsible. We have been accountable. We have balanced the fiscal pressures with the need to advance critical infrastructure, create attractive environment for investment and job growth, improve access and outcomes in healthcare and education, as well as clean up the mess of Muskrat Falls.
Finance Minister Tom Osborne promising the Liberal government's plan will provide jobs, opportunities, and a return to surplus.
But it is a budget that sounds a lot more like a campaign launch, and if the writ is dropped tomorrow, this budget won't be passed. That means the Liberals will need to win an election before it can reintroduce the budget and it actually becomes law. So before we get to some of those goodies, and there are plenty for us to talk about, let's start by talking about the big numbers, like just how big our deficit is this year, and in fact, surprise, it's actually a surplus. Well, last year, the budget was projected, it was supposed to be a $500 million deficit. But thanks to higher spending, that deficit was actually a little bigger, $575 million. But then came the new Atlantic Accord agreement. Government is counting all of that money this year, even though some of it won't come for decades. That means the government now has a surprise, $1.9 billion surplus. The minister insists he's just following the accounting rules.
It wasn't our choice. It's the accounting system, accrual accounting. I would have preferred to have seen this chop away at our deficit next year and the year after, and to help us with surpluses every year. And in fact, you know, I argued with the financial, you know, the officials in the department, but this is the system we use. It's accrual accounting. You know, it is what it is.
Now that surplus is going to be short-lived. Next year, we're back into a big deficit. It's not until 2022 that we're supposed to have a truly balanced books.
And opposition leaders were quick to react to the promises from the Liberals in today's budget, including the surplus because of the Atlantic Accord money. Here Now's Katie Breen co-hosted our budget special this afternoon, and she spoke with the leaders of the opposition afterwards. So, Katie, what did they have to say?
Well, they're unimpressed with the surplus and how it was calculated. Crosby went as far as to call it misleading that future Atlantic Accord money is going to offset the budget now.
I think we should all just see that for what it is. It's funny money puffing up the surplus in the budget. It's not real.
They're showing it all in the books today, so it looks like an artificial surplus, and it is an artificial surplus. So this is just a little bit of magic with numbers that we're seeing.
Then there's spending. This budget says the spending is going to increase in the province to $8.4 billion. And of course, the opposition is critical of that. The NDP takes issue with how money is being spent to start projects but not finish them. And then the PCs don't see how the Liberals will bring the province back to surplus by 2022 as promised.
We're going to see more spending later on down the road that's not actually being shown up on our books right now. So we're going to be in a much worse state than the budget is showing us at this point.
Their target of making it back to surplus, that's now unrealistic, and we are still financially unsustainable.
Both parties agree this is definitely an election budget, something for Ball to campaign on once an election is officially called. Live from Confederation Building, I'm Katie Breen for Here and Now.
So how could this budget affect your pocketbook? Well, there are plenty of morsels that will appeal to a wide range of voters and also appease some critical voices. First off, this budget promises no tax or fee increases. In fact, it's offering seniors and military veterans a reduction in fees for vehicle licensing. That will be a $5 savings for seniors and 10% savings for veterans. And if you're thinking about getting a heat pump for your home, this budget promises a new incentive, a $1 million heat pump rebate program. That's a $1,000 grant for 1,000 homeowners. And good news for post-secondary students, this budget promises to once again maintain your tuition freeze. Also offered a new benefit for parents with young children, free eye exams for children starting kindergarten this fall. And the Autism Society recently made some noise about its financial troubles. Well, this budget lists an autism action plan worth $2.5 million, growing to a total of $5 million in the coming years. And another promise, no more age restrictions on the insulin pump program that was limited to people 25 or younger. And artists have been vocal about a need for more funding. Well, they got it. Plans to increase the Arts NL grant program by $1 million and announced yesterday a cut to automobile insurance tax.
Wow, this budget is night and day from the Liberals' first budget. For example, libraries. You may remember 3 years ago, the Liberals cut the budget for libraries and planned to shut half of them down. Well, that drew protests and criticism. Now, in an election year, the government isn't doing anything that could reignite that anger.
I want to talk about the libraries and that one of the key areas that we are not going to be closing any libraries. We will be maintaining the core funding to the libraries. And so while we don't see a significant or any increase with regards to the core funding, there's no decrease.
Now, election budget or not, a number of people are weighing in on their thoughts on what was in today's plan. Jerry Earle represents this province's biggest public sector union.
Overall, compared to a budget lockup I was in 4 years ago, quite a different mood and relatively pleased with what I see in the budget. I'm certainly concerned because we hear about need for budget reductions, but sometimes when there is no increase in the budget, that certainly causes concerns, such as healthcare, one of the largest consumers for healthcare. The budget is pretty well flatline.
And from the business community's perspective, Jacqueline Sullivan of the Employers Council says this government continues to have a clear spending problem. She wants all voters to look at that issue when candidates are on the campaign trail.
Well, I think the simple fact that we call this an election budget, and that's supposed to mean, a whole bunch of spending announcements, speaks to the root issue that we have in the province. If spending money we don't have is how you get reelected in Newfoundland and Labrador, we're never going to get out of this situation. I think it's back to the electorate to say, look, we want longer term decisions about our province's finances. When this election is going on, ask your politicians what their plan is.
So we know when the election will be held. The Liberals will be campaigning on this budget, but what do voters think? Here and now, Zach Gowdy joins us live from the Biggs restaurant in St. John's. So, Zach, any first impressions to report?
Well, absolutely. We're standing here with people who have those impressions, bright, engaged young people who follow politics, but from outside the bubble. Marilyn Taylor is a small business owner. You might know her from Model Citizens, the fabulous thrift shop in downtown St. John's. Terry Hussey is CEO of Vigilant Management, a management project consultancy. Terry is frequently cited as one of the top CEOs in Atlantic Canada. And Mimi Sharif is a global citizen who divides her time between Ethiopia, Zimbabwe, and Newfoundland and Labrador. And you may know Mimi serving the fabulous Ethiopian food at the St. John's Farmers Market. Mimi also works in tech and is an expert in sustainability. Thank you all for being here. Later in the show, we're going to get a longer chat and a more substantive analysis of today's budget from each of you. But right now, I want to hear your quick takes. And maybe let's start with you. Based on what you heard from the budget this afternoon, does this budget get your thumbs up or thumbs down?
I would love to give a strong opinion, but I think right now the budget has given me a little bit of I'm not entirely sure. So I think 2016, everybody had a visceral reaction, and there was a lot of, doom and gloom. I think this year, I was expecting a little bit more positivity. If you are a super optimistic person, maybe, but it was a little bit of a status quo for me, and I have more questions really than anything really that I was super excited about.
Let's hear, Terry, let's hear your quick take. Thumbs up or thumbs down on today's budget?
Not to cop out and offer the same suggestion that Mimi did, but I can't give an up or a down because the feeling that I had was exhaustion. I just felt exhausted because the government is going to say that it's the best thing ever. The opposition is going to say that it was terrible. And it just felt like more of the same from both sides. And I didn't hear any solutions in there that I felt were going to make a difference, even though it's presented as something that's going to change our worlds. It just felt like a letdown. I just felt tired after listening to it. That's my quick take.
And Marilyn, Mimi and Terry went kind of in the middle of there. Did you have a thumbs up or thumbs down reaction, or again, something more in the middle of the road?
Well, if the goal was to be more positive than 2016, 100 thumbs up. But in my personal opinion, I'm also a true in the middle. It's kind of like when you watch the previews for a hyped up movie and you go and see the movie and everything good about it was in the previews. So what's left?
Well, guys, I really appreciate your perspective. We're going to hear more from our panel a little later in the show. As just like in the budget, the headlines are one thing, the details going to have to be something else again. So that's coming up a little later on Here and Now, but right now we'll send it back to the studio.
Thanks, Zach. That's Here and Now. Zach Gowdy reporting live. Well, keeping with politics, in the battle of Betty versus Bev.
Yeah, incumbent Betty Parsley is the winner.
Parsley is the Liberal MHA for Conception Bay District of Harbour, Maine. She's running for re-election, but in an unusual move, her nomination was challenged by fellow Liberal Bev Moore-Davis. Now, Moore-Davis is a well-known advocate for victims of sexual violence.
The party held the nomination vote yesterday, and according to Parsley's Twitter account, she's the winner. Parsley says she feels humbled by the result and congratulated Moore-Davis for participating in the process.
Budget business reaction from the Big Land. Jeff Goodyear will talk to us about what's in the budget that pleases people here in Labrador. Stay tuned.
This weather update is brought to you by the Healthcare Foundation Home Lottery. Order your tickets now at hcfhomelottery.ca.
Not the time of year, really, you want to be going door to door, at least not the weather we had this morning.
Not this morning, no. Not too nice out there, especially along the northeast coast, especially here. Take a look at a picture sent in this morning of the freezing rain that we saw.
At least it's beautiful.
It is. It was beautiful. It didn't last long. If you didn't get outside at all this morning before 9 a.m., you would have had no idea that this happened because those temperatures climbed pretty quickly. So here's what we were sitting at this morning, hence why we saw all that freezing rain. Minus single digits across the first, or at least the northeast coast, and then 0 degrees towards the west coast, and then quite cold up through Labrador as well. Temperatures, though, quickly climbed this morning, especially for eastern Newfoundland. Anywhere from 6 to 10 degrees was the daytime high. And if we take a look at the temperatures right now, they've dropped quite significantly. So we're already sitting below 0 for the west coast, and then still sitting in those mid-single digits towards the east coast. And as we head through the night tonight, we're going to start to see some colder air wrap around. So here's what the situation. The low pressure system is just sitting off the coast right now. We've got some freezing rain still happening for Green Bay, White Bay. But as this cooler northeasterly air starts to move in, you can see things are changing over to snow. Then we still have that southerly flow for parts of eastern Newfoundland, and that will change as we head through the night tonight because that low is going to continue to skirt further east. So winter storm warning still in place for southeastern Labrador and the northern peninsula, and then that freezing rain warning still in place for Green Bay, White Bay. Again, likely over the next couple of hours that will end as we start to see things change over to snow, and we do still have a special weather statement in effect all the way through to Gander, and that's because as those temperatures drop, we wrap around that cold air, we're going to get into a snow situation. So that snow will continue to spread further east as we head through the night tonight. Labrador should actually clear out, except for the southeastern portion. That should taper to flurries, but those winds are still going to stay strong overnight. So southwesterlies anywhere from 30 to 50 kilometers per hour along the northeast coast. Those temperatures dropping, there you go, anywhere from -2 to 0 degrees through the overnight. Up through the straits, though still windy with northeasterly gusts near 60 kilometers per hour. So look for blowing snow again through the night tonight. And then for western Labrador, -11, and still looking at that chance of flurries. Now into the afternoon tomorrow, have these temperatures still on there. It's going to be quite chilly through the day. So we're going to continue to see that snow through the afternoon tomorrow, along with those strong winds through the day. So as that snow moves through, we're looking at anywhere between a trace to 5 centimeters, particularly for the south coast. Even the Burin Peninsula and the south coast could see some rain mix in with that, bringing those accumulations down. This brings us through to Wednesday morning, but then into the afternoon, anywhere from 5 to 10 centimeters is a good bet. And then along the essentially from Green Bay, White Bay through to Gander, you're looking at closer to 10 to 15 centimeters. So here's your temperatures. Again, those winds will be quite strong, anywhere from 60 to 80 kilometers per hour. So look for whiteout conditions, especially up through where those special weather statement is in effect. Terra Nova, 1 degree tomorrow. Heading towards the coast, more peaks of sun likely for Stephenville and then parts of the south coast as well. And then again, going to continue to see the winter storm warning in effect. Everything will eventually taper to flurries, which is certainly good news, but those winds are going to stay strong. Labrador, it doesn't look too bad tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine as a ridge of high pressure moves in. And that's the story through Thursday as we get into some quieter weather after tomorrow, but I'll have all those details when I come back. Carolyn?
Thanks, Ashley. Well, you can't have a budget in this province without talking about oil and gas, and now more than ever, mining. Billions in revenues and thousands of good-paying jobs. Well, government is hoping to grow those sectors even more and making zero apologies about doing so in this era of climate change concerns. Here now's Terry Roberts reports.
When all of you guys come here on bicycles or electric cars, I'll say we no longer need oil.
In an era where some say we should be weaning ourselves off oil, the Liberal government is going in the opposite direction. Too many jobs at stake, the very foundation of the province's economy, with more than $1 billion annually in royalties.
Oil is still very much part of the future.
And the Liberals want to increase production dramatically, touting the environmental benefits of our light, sweet crude.
Our oil is amongst the cleanest in the world. We've got the lowest CO2 levels in Canada.
But it won't come cheap. Government has set aside more than $100 million this year for an equity stake in the Bay du Nord project, with Equinor fine-tuning its plan to bring down development costs with possible sanctioning this year.
You're seeing monies now allocated in budget to do that 10% allocation for equity investment.
There's another $20 million for offshore seismic work, with previous surveys helping attract new oil companies and billions of exploration commitments in the coming years. Up to 100 exploration wells are being planned.
If 1 in 5 or 1 in 6 of those wells turns into a profitable oil-producing project, you can look at almost 100 exploration wells. We could have 20 additional oil-producing projects out there.
Mining is often overshadowed by the oil industry, but government is hoping to change that. More than 6,000 jobs, value of mineral shipments poised to soar this year, and now investing millions in geophysical research in hopes of replicating the seismic success in the offshore.
It's not quite seismic, but it does increase our opportunities of understanding kind of what encouraging exploration in some of our greenfield areas and looks at different parts of the province. So it opens up our exploration opportunity in the province.
The strategy is aimed at doubling mining exploration efforts in the coming years. Terry Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
And many of those mines are in Labrador.
Yeah, and that's where Anthony Germain is tonight with reaction to the budget. Anthony?
It's certainly natural resources. Obviously, when we think of those in our province, Labrador is the place, the heart of a lot of those resources, especially when we're talking about mining. Transportation, a very important issue here in the Big Land. I'm joined now by an engaged business leader, Jeff Goodyear. So, Jeff, what's your sense of the budget?
It was good to see a commitment for previous commitments to Labrador. It was also good to see them stepping back from some of the regressive taxes that they had in place, particularly the insurance premium tax and the deficit reduction levy. So as they step back from that, that's all positive for the general population and business. And the commitment of $40 million to finish off the Trans-Labrador Highway, that's critical. Any money you spend on transportation infrastructure here in Labrador is a key investment, not an expense.
All right, as far as the highway goes, of course, I think a lot of people on the island know that it's very important, such a large place as Labrador. Fred Hutton broke the news that the election is on for May 15th. Is this the kind of budget you think that's going to encourage Labradorians to think, you know what, it was kind of rough a few years ago, but now things are looking better?
It would be difficult to speak for the population in general, but I know from a business perspective, the investments that have been made over the last 5 or 6 years in transportation infrastructure and communication infrastructure has been excellent. And if they're going to maintain that trend and those types of investments, well, it bodes well for the future. Now it's up to the business community to exercise some innovation and start levering those infrastructures.
So you get these kinds of announcements. Jeff, how long does it take before you can really tell if these kinds of things pay off?
It's probably 2 or 3 years. Things like the new ferry service that they're going to be doing, the roll-on, roll-off service where you can take a truck from Montreal or Goose Bay, drive on here, and literally drive off again in Hopedale, Makkovik, or Nain. That's a game changer from a supply chain management perspective, but it's going to take a while for that to manifest itself.
Right, you're talking about 18-wheelers just being able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely, and or vehicles. Somebody in Hopedale can now drive from Hopedale to central Canada for vacation. I mean, it has social and economic implications.
Right. One last question for you as we head into an election campaign. What's your sense of an important issue for business over the next month or so as we head to voting day?
Well, as I mentioned, the continuation of the support of that infrastructure, but also some of the industries here in Labrador which kind of wobble or are suffering and languishing a little bit. It's great to see a continuation of the mineral exploration incentive. Things like that, when you actually pump resources into that tends to jumpstart those critical industries.
All right, Jeff, listen, I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
All right, we'll have more budget reaction later on Here and Now, live from Happy Valley Goose Bay.
Welcome back to Here and Now. We've heard a lot of opinions on tonight's show about the budget. Well, Tom Osborne is the man who wrote it. He had to balance the need to save with the need to spend on election year goodies. This afternoon, I pulled him aside to get some answers about this budget and its surprise surplus. One figure that really jumps out from this budget document is the surplus. All of a sudden, we have a $1.9 billion surplus, all thanks to the Atlantic Accord. Isn't this a bit of financial trickery that an election year, surprise, we've now got a surplus?
Well, I mean, based on accrual accounting principles, we had to book it this year. Believe it or not, and I don't mind saying publicly, I mean, I was arguing to book it over the course of the Atlantic Accord Agreement because it would, over the next 2 years, reduce deficits, and then in 2023 it would add to the surplus. I would have preferred to have seen it that way, but based on accrual accounting, we had no choice but to book it this year.
This looks very much like a document that your MHAs are going to be out campaigning on. There's a lot of small amounts, but significant amounts for individual groups, whether or not it's autism, whether or not it's arts funding.
I mean, many of these groups have been advocating to government for, you know, the past couple of years, really, and when I became Minister of Finance, and I know the Premier strongly supports the vision that it's a balanced approach. So as we're able to reduce the tax burden on people, we will. Keeping our plan to return to surplus in 2022-23. You know, similarly with groups that are looking for funding. I mean, we've had groups that were looking for funding this year that we couldn't accommodate. We've had groups that, you know, we gave an increase to last year, we couldn't this year, for example. One of those is the school lunch program comes to mind. We did give them an increase last year. This year we weren't able to do that because it was their turn last year. This year there are other groups. I mean, it is a balanced approach. It's about trying to meet the needs of organizations and community groups and populations in the province. But the main fact is we are still on track to return to surplus in 22-23.
There is no guarantee that any of these measures will come into effect, because increasingly it looks like we're going to have an election before the budget can be passed, because it's a fairly long process to debate and actually pass this budget. Are you committed that if this budget isn't passed and you get back in, that this will be the exact budget? Because I think a lot of people could be worried, oh great, they get reelected and then all of a sudden some of the goodies disappear and things change and...
You know, there's literally months go into preparing a budget document. You know, my staff have put in many hours in preparing this document. So I can assure you, this is the budget that we'll be going to the people on. This is the budget that we'll be debating in the House. This is the budget we'll be voting on.
So no changes then?
We won't be making changes to the budget. I mean, if, you know, obviously when you go door to door, you hear things. If we hear things that people want worked on and we believe it's a good idea, it would make good policy, we'll work on it. And it will factor into, you know, if we're able to do something within existing funding, we'll look at it, or if it needs to wait till next year's budget, we'll look at that. This is the budget that we're bringing to the people of the province, and this is the budget that we'll be voting on.
Well, thank you very much for telling me about it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Well, you just heard the finance minister's message, but are voters going to buy it? Earlier in the show, we introduced you to a panel of people with opinions. Now let's go back to them at the Biggs restaurant in St. John's to hear what they think about this budget. Here now, Zach Gowdy is there.
Yes, Carolyn, it's wing night here at the Biggs. We're about to dive into a basket of fiscal and social issues. Marilyn Taylor is a small business owner, Terry Hussey, CEO of Vigilant Management, and Mimi Sharif, global citizen, tech worker, and fabulous chef. Marilyn, let's start with you this time. People might know you from Model Citizens, a thrift store downtown, and since you're sort of professionally thrifty, I wanted to get your take on all the pocketbook items that were scattered in this budget. Not a lot of big headlines, but you had many of these small targeted spends. For someone who's cost conscious, do those small spends, like the free eye exams for kindergartens and cheaper vehicle registrations for seniors, can those small things actually have a big impact with a vote?
Absolutely. So in my industry, you know, a lot of us and people that we serve have stayed here, you know, in brighter times when people have left, we've stayed, and it's been a bit of a slower reaction with my customer, and it's been ultimately that things have gotten more expensive across the board. So, you know, it's kind of like it's finally hitting us, and everything we touch is more expensive. So I'm hoping that the reverse of that will happen when they hear that things that were more expensive are now getting cut back, especially the savings of the tax on the car insurance. I know I'm going to hear a lot about that one this week, and for some of us, it's just a little bit of relief we need to feel comfortable getting back into our routine spending. So while I don't think it yields, you know, astronomical results, I will think it will be a little bit, you know, certainly beneficial to me.
Every little bit counts. Hey?
Every little bit counts, certainly.
Terry, I know one of your big interests as a project management consultant is about the long-term viability of Newfoundland and Labrador, about growing this economy. And one critique I heard of today's budget is that there's not a lot in there for future planning, about transitioning the province to the post-oil economy. Even though there was no big bad news headlines, does that alone, the absence of that future plan, bring you some concern?
Yeah, it really does, because, I mean, if you boil it down to its simplest form, government has two ways to deal with things: bring in more money or spend less. And to bring in more money, we need to have more people to pay more taxes to bring in more money. And more people means more jobs. More jobs mean better industries or different industries, so which means investment in the future. Post-oil, of course, would mean to take all of the wealth that we've gained from all of our energy resources, take that money and invest it in other industries to grow sustainable, renewable industries that can grow and provide a future for us and all of our kids and grandkids. That's great. And that vision piece has just been absent in Newfoundland and Labrador, I think, for a very long time. And that's what kind of really just struck a chord in me today. I was looking for that. I'm desperate for it. I think people our age are like, please tell us your vision of how we're going to go there, because the status quo, I think, is just going to get us crushed under debt and taxation, and eventually people like us will leave and younger people just won't even stay, and then there's nothing left. So there's a moment here where they need to give us a picture of the future and explain how we're going to get there. And if it involves some tough medicine, we'll do it. But I mean, I just felt that that vision piece just wasn't there today. So it was a big concern for me.
And speaking of the status quo, to you, Mimi, this budget very much was kind of a status quo budget. Again, no new taxes, no spending cuts, but no new spending or big programs either. We have kind of gotten used to in the last few years, especially since 2016, and you brought this up earlier in the show, about the bad news budgets. Have our expectations now been changed after so many bad news budget that a budget that is essentially no news almost feels like good news in a way?
I think that could definitely be perceived that way. I think if we look at it in a different way, I think I'm here by choice, and I think a lot of people who maybe not are from Newfoundland are here by choice, and so we need more of a bigger picture and a bigger plan of why is it that you would want to come here, and it could be from across Canada, it doesn't have to be outside of the country. Why is it that you're coming here? So it needs to be bolder and stronger, but yes, I think because it's not doom and gloom, you feel like, okay, we'll keep trugging along. But I think, and Terry touched on this, is I don't think that's sustainable. I don't think we can just keep trucking along as things are. We need something big and innovative, and I think I completely agree with the McKinsey report. I think it's great that we invested $1 million to get a report in for new ideas. I think now I'm looking to how do we implement some of that, because I think some of it was good, not all of it. I don't agree with all of it, but I think it was a good investment. What can we do so that we don't just get comfortable in this inertia?
Well, new ideas is what we came to you guys for, and I really appreciate the perspective you brought to this story tonight. Again, Mary-Lynn Taylor, Terry Hussey, Mimi Sharif. The wings are on the way, I promise. Again, appreciate you joining us, and I hope we'll hear more from you during this election campaign.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Once again, we're live at the Bigs in St. John's, and I'm Zach Gowdy. We'll send it back to the studio once again.
Happy Valley Goose Bay is the hub of Labrador. Coming up, the mayor, Wally Anderson, will talk about the budget and maybe about the election. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Happy Valley Goose Bay. I'm Anthony Germain with the mayor of the town. So Wally Anderson, your thoughts on the budget?
There's quite a few things in the budget that we're quite pleased with. Our rural response vehicle, which will carry the jaws of life. It'll be the only vehicle in central Labrador, and it'll assist us with the road between here and Labrador City, the South Coast Road, and neighboring communities.
Right, so this is like a kind of a heavy-duty, super modern fire truck that can get to places when it needs to be somewhere.
Exactly, and it'll cut down on man time as well. So we're pleased with that. We're also pleased with the $1 million expansion to the correctional center.
Right. Why is that important? Because that has to do with female inmates, right?
It is, and you know, they got to go outside, and you know, it takes them away. A lot of these people are Aboriginal. They're born and bred Labradorians. And it takes them away with a bunch of strangers where, you know, the family very seldom can visit. So
right.
That's important as well.
So what difference will that actually make?
Well, it'll be here in the local area, and people come in from all parts of Labrador. So if there's a female who will be at the correctional center here, their family will have every opportunity to go and visit them and encourage them to move on.
Right. Earlier, Terry Roberts, my colleague, reported on Here Now Tonight, of course, the importance of natural resources. Oftentimes on the island we talk about oil. Here, of course, in Labrador, mining. You can't get to and from mines without transportation and infrastructure. What is there in this budget that you think is important with respect to transportation?
Well, there's money there for the Trans-Labrador Highway, and that's badly needed. I know that it was announced before, but it's better late than never. And I had the opportunity to travel that road yesterday, and there's a section of road that not only is deplorable, is totally unacceptable. So we're pleased with that as well.
All right. In the future, I guess you'll still be looking for a little more when it comes to actually fixing that up.
Exactly. And also in the budget, which wasn't highlighted in detail today, is that we put in roughly $4.2 million cost share between us, the province, and the federal government to do a Kellen Drive and Kellen Drive extension.
Here in Happy Valley?
Here in Happy Valley, and we're very encouraging the way talks have gone, and in the next week or so we're hoping to hear some good news on that as well. And also the $500,000 for the housing hub, the shelter.
Okay.
That's very important.
Let me ask you this. You used to be politically active on the provincial scene. We got an election now in the middle of May. Any thoughts as we head? You're supposed to be neutral, right?
Exciting, eh?
What's that?
Exciting.
Exciting?
Yes. Well, you know, it's election time, and
but you have connections, right?
Let me say this: every community has got different issues that they need. So it's up to the people in their communities to bring their concerns to their candidates or the potential candidates, and it's up to them to decide who goes to St. John's and to the House of Assembly.
Right. I guess you got to choose your words carefully.
I speak my mind.
Mr. Anderson, thank you very much. A pleasure. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right. That's it from Happy Valley Goose Bay. Of course, I'm going to be here. I'm on a different assignment. It just happens to coincide with both a budget and an election call. Have more reporting from Happy Valley Goose Bay later in the week. Carolyn and Peter.
Thanks so much, Anthony.
And it'll be interesting to see. It's going to be a busy week. Lots of reaction that Anthony will be able to get from Labrador while he's up there, because with an election call coming, we're hearing tomorrow.
It's going to be exciting.
So yeah, we
like
go
Wally Anderson said.
right from all the big budget-related news right into a campaign trail. So never a dull moment.
Yes. Well, it's Tuesday, budget day, but it's also Weather Whiz Kid Day.
Yes.
It is.
Let's see who our Weather Whiz Kid is.
Our newest member is Kirsten Lewis. So she sent us this cute drawing saying spring is certainly in the air. She's 6 years old from Bayburt.
Oh.
Yeah, great shot there.
Very
Great
appropriate today with all the
Drizzly weather and
yeah.
you can see some crocuses popping up around town right now.
That's right.
Nice.
That is nice. So there's her, there she is there. Thank you
Aw.
so much.
I
for
love those
I know,
glasses.
they're great, hey? Thank you so much for sending your drawing in. If you want to be part of our Weather Whiz Kid Club, send your drawing, your address, and because I want to send you a postcard in the mail to nlphotos@cbc.ca, and we'll get you on.
Excellent.
Excellent. So what's coming weather-wise as we look into the long range?
Yeah, so we're going to, one more day of getting under this system, and then as we head towards Thursday, take a look at the future tracker. You're going to see that there's not a whole lot happening, and we can thank a ridge of high pressure for that. So things are going to start to clear out. A little bit of a system disturbance moves through northern Labrador, but other than that, not a whole lot happening. So we'll start to see the next system roll in, though, with some cloud cover overnight. We'll talk about that in just a second. Otherwise, those temperatures are going to rebound quite nicely, especially with that sun peeking out, likely seeing temperatures in the mid-single digits. Few flurries to start the day for eastern Newfoundland. Eventually that will clear out and we should see plenty of sunshine through the day. Again, temperatures sitting between in the mid-single digits. Lab City as well should see a high near 5 degrees 7 for Happy Valley Goose Bay with plenty of sunshine through the day. And then snow moves in again for Labrador. So this will be short, those warm temperatures will be short-lived at least through Friday. And then we're going to see a push of warm air for most of the island, and then even more so as we head through the day on Saturday. And I mentioned that warm up, and it's looking more and more likely. Some models are actually pointing at between 15 to 20 degrees as your afternoon high on Saturday. Even more so on Sunday, and then even Monday, we're going to hang on to these warmer temperatures. You can see that warmth is going to head up towards Labrador as well. So any precipitation that does fall will likely change over to rain. So here's a look at the next 5 days. Couple centimeters on the way tomorrow for St. John's and eastern Newfoundland with those winds through the day. So northerlies gusting upwards of about 80 kilometers per hour. So in some of those flurries, we could see some reduced visibilities reaching a high near 2 degrees. Thursday 4, and then we start to climb right up into the teens as we head towards the long weekend. Windy on Saturday, and then Sunday looks like that chance of showers at least through the first half of the day, and then we should see some peaks of sun, which could bump up those temperatures even a little bit more. Central Newfoundland, 2 to 4 centimeters tomorrow. Sunshine on Thursday and 8 degrees, and then those winds again as we head towards Friday and Saturday with some showers possible on Sunday, but looks like 8 or 17 degrees, potentially even a couple degrees more. And then Western Newfoundland, windy in the morning, and then they'll die down a little bit, still gusting upwards of about 60 kilometers per hour tomorrow. Sunshine on Thursday, and then we get into that wet weather as we head towards the weekend. 13 and 15 on Sunday, and then up through Labrador. Eastern Labrador, flurries tomorrow morning, and then eventually clearing thanks to a ridge of high pressure, but 7 degrees on Thursday. Snow changing to rain for Friday, and then similar for Saturday and Sunday. 6 and 7 degrees, and then there you go. Western Labrador looking at temperatures above 0 through the week. Sunshine for through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, either rain or snow, thanks to those temperatures around 4 degrees. So that's a look at your forecast. I'll have your weather photo coming up. Carolyn?
Thanks, Ashley. Well, one of the big talking points today and a point of criticism from the opposition is government's projected surplus. And that comes from the Atlantic Accord deal, which includes funding from now until 2056. So why is all of that money factored in now? Our Fred Hutton put that question to financial planner Larry Short.
Larry, what jumped out when you first saw the budget documents here today?
It's pretty much a standard budget in terms of comparable in previous years. The big news is the $2.5 billion, that one-time revenue figure that's booked, because it's all been booked in 1 year. And of course the debate is really, should it be booked into 1 year? Is there a more prudent way to have looked at taking that money into the accounts? Should it have been, based on the fact that over many years there's been a bit of worries about how We are highly dependent on oil, and this one-time figure should have been spread in some fashion.
Would a business be able to do that kind of accounting?
Technically, the answer is yes. So again, we will hear, I guess, in the future, at the end of the year, whether the Auditor General for the province says that this is the way that it should be booked. And I know that it can be booked this way, but again, I've come back to, there's no long-term plan discussed in this budget to tackle the deficit in the absence of having an increase in oil revenue. And as a consequence, this is kind of kicking the problems down the road again.
An election budget?
Oh, beautifully so. It's the skies have opened and the money has ascended properly. It's perfect timing for an election budget.
All right, so $2.5 billion, we talk about that number, we talk about out to 2056 with this Hibernia Dividend Fund. But what about the average person driving up and down the road here in front of Confederation Building, the things that impact them today, tomorrow, or in the coming months?
Yeah, so a lot of it's been pre-announced. I mean, mostly that insurance change, dropping the tax on auto insurance. And there's some dribs and drabs here and there, some small amounts that's there, but it's not anything really too substantial.
What's not here that you would have liked to have seen?
The long-term review. This is always focused, and it is maybe a symptom of the budget itself. It's talking about in the short run here are the changes that we're going to have in the next year and a half to 2 years. Some projections as to revenue and expenses. But what's not there is how is it that we're going to transition from an oil-based revenue into an economy that will reflect the fact that oil should not be part of this province 10, 15, 20 years from now.
A little bit of a different viewer photo of the day today.
Always nice to have some wildlife.
That's right. Getting his catch of the day and bringing it on shore. I'll tell you where this photo was taken when we come back.
Well, lots of local politics tonight. Let's take a look at a bit of international news. Today, countries across Europe are vowing to rebuild Notre Dame Cathedral after the centuries-old landmark went up in flames yesterday.
Yes, Paris residents and visitors have been gathering in the days since the fire to take pictures of what's left and reflect on the loss.
It's really sad. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a part of history and you never really want to lose that. I think that that's, part of the culture and the essence of any country.
Now, some are calling it a miracle. Many of the cathedral's furnishings survived the fire. The 3 large rose windows appear to be in good shape, but the high altar installed just 30 years ago was crushed when the church spire collapsed.
A number of French corporations have pledged hundreds of millions of euros to help in the reconstruction effort. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Officials still think it may have started as a result of restoration work that was taking place on the roof.
Right. Well, it's not all destroyed. So
no, and in fact, it's amazing some of the photos when you look inside. After you've seen the intensity of the fire, you know, we had it on the show last night, you thought, uh-oh,
yeah,
it's going to be gone. And then inside, some are calling it a miracle.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so let's have a look at our viewer photo.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. It was a nice photo today. I love this one. This photo was taken in Clarenville.
Little day for fishing.
Yeah, just enjoying its catch of the day, bringing it on shore. Oliver sent us that photo. Thank you so much for sending that in. If you have any weather photos that you'd like to send us, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
All right, so it was a busy day today, going to be another busy day tomorrow, no doubt. As Fred said earlier, hearing that the writ is going to be dropped tomorrow and that could see a budget on May 15th.
Or an election.
Yeah. An election, sorry.
So much
Just thinking about
politics
the
news,
budget.
it's all jumbled up there, but don't worry, we've got 4 weeks or so to straighten it all out. And if you love politics, lots to stay tuned for in the coming days.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.